Good afternoon, everyone. So, TN Fishing Fanatic here with you again. I'm going to go over my most recent hunting purchase here. So, this is actually the Barronett Ox4. I picked this up at the NWTF convention in Nashville here back almost a month ago now. Actually, they shipped it to me. I bought it there. It was at a really good discounted price, and they shipped it to me for free, and didn't have to worry about packing it around the convention or anything like that. So came straight to the house. I've been looking at these for a while to replace my previous Barronett blind. I had a very large Barronett bell-bottom blind that I've probably used now for 5 years, and it's been fantastic. But it was starting to get some age on it. I actually had a walnut limb fall on it, and it ripped a hole right through the top of it. So I've had that taped up now for the past year, and that was how I was hunting out of it. I was trying to find something a little different though, and I kind of want to go over some of the features and what kind of turned me on to this blind. So this Ox4 is actually made out of the bonded oxhide fabric, and the blind itself is 2-layer. So the outside is the really soft, supple, quiet oxhide fabric, and on the inside it's a matte black finish. So you've got the 2 layers there that are bonded together. Because of that, this makes this blind a little bit heavier than a lot of the other blinds on the market, especially the entry-level blinds that you're going to run into, which they're all just, for the most part, single-layer fabrics. And they tend to be noisy as well. I've used them before. My brother has a couple of them. You know, they just don't tend to last as long, in my opinion. This blind, though, with the blind by itself comes in at 28 pounds. When you factor in the backpack and the stakes that come with the blind, you're pushing probably closer to 35 pounds. So it's not really a combination that you're going to want to take long distance into public land, or definitely not in backcountry style, anything like that. But for me here, where I'm hunting for the most part private land, whether it's on me or my dad or my neighbors that give me permission, this suits our style really well. A little bit about the backpack that comes with it. You know, a lot of times you end up with these little bags that are hard to stuff the ground blind into, and you're just cramming and pushing and shoving, and it's like the bag that it comes with. It's like it's vacuum sealed. I mean, it's just that small and that tight. The bag that comes with this blind is an oversized duffel style bag, and I have no problems. I mean, you pick the bag up, or you pick the blind up, you set it inside the mouth of the bag, and you just pull the bag up, and there's tensioners around the bag, so you can tension the bag around the blind. It's got the backpack straps and everything else. I'll probably actually change out the stakes that come with it. I'll probably switch them out to an aluminum stake instead of the really heavy steel stakes that came with it. But you know, that's just a little bit on that. As far as the window design here, you've actually got a 180-degree window. That's not really anything new. You know, there's been companies that have had that for a while. The good thing about going to the NWTF convention is all these manufacturers are there, and you can walk around and compare all the blinds right there in one place. So I've looked at a lot of the competing blinds, you know, comparable to this one. Obviously, you've got your Primos, you've got Muddy, you got Rhino blinds, Ameristeps, all those guys. There's a lot of other people out there, I'm sure, that I'm not even thinking about right now offhand. This blind just really got my attention. One, because of the value, especially at the discounted price that they offered it at the Turkey Convention, but just everything else about it. It comes with a really heavy-duty ground skirt here, so you don't have to worry about, you know, water running in underneath. It also helps keep the critters out as well, so that's a good thing. I like having this 180-degree window. I can adjust it. I have it set right now for what I would probably have it set at for our turkey hunts, and when I say our, I mean me and my kids. What I like about this design is I have a lot of play here with these windows, and I can, with my kids, you know, obviously they're lower to the ground when they're sitting, even in a shooting stool, so I can lower this window down as low as I want to. A lot of the ground blinds that are out there, they're just the little triangular windows, and a lot of them are set up for adults. So my son always had a hard time seeing out of those windows, and he had a real hard time getting a good, solid, you know, position with his shotgun out those windows, or even the rifle during deer season. So I like that you have a lot of adjustability here. The window, the 2-layer oxhide material is on adjustable sliders, and the screen mesh material is on a different adjustable slider on the inside. So they're separated from each other. There's one for each. So you can adjust each one of them individually. Right now, I have the screen up all the way around. But the good thing is, I've got it hooked on toggles inside here. So I would leave the screen up for when I am just sitting there looking out, watching for turkeys or deer. As soon as I saw one come into the picture, I can reach up here and it's silent enclosure. I can just grab the little loop, slide it off, and then this will slide down, giving me a shooting lane coming out right through here where I can shoot anywhere around through here. So it's silent, it's very dark inside. Now right now, okay, I've got it zipped up on the other side, so the door is zipped up, so you're getting some light coming in from the other side right now. Probably what I would do, and this hasn't been adjusted, there's actually, I'll show you in other video clips here, there's actually numerous ways you can secure this into position. You've got the adjustable tensioners here on the webbing in each of the corners, but then here in the midpoint you actually have an adjustable, you've got a string with an adjustable spring-loaded clip where you can actually adjust these up and down however you want. So a lot of adjustability there. Probably what I would actually do is I would tighten this down a little bit more, especially during turkey season. I would close this down so there's not as much light coming in. Most likely I'm not going to be bow hunting out of this during turkey season, so I could get by with just having a narrow slit because I can still see out, and then I can have my camera set up and I can move my camera wherever, and I can have enough room to just get the barrel of my gun out and make my shot. I also like this as far as the self-filming aspect, because a lot of times with my other blinds you end up with all these big dead spots where these braces come through and you've got all this material over it. With this blind you don't have to worry about that. Like I said, I realize this isn't anything really new to the industry, but when I started looking for blinds that offered this 180-degree window design and at the quality of the material, I mean, just the material itself just feels so durable. It's soft, it's quiet. When I started comparing all of them and the other blinds that were at the turkey convention, this one just really stood out at me. I've used Barronett for years now. Like I said before, roughly 5 years. I've had the previous Barronett bell-bottom blind. I had another experience with some of their blinds before. I have to say the customer service is fantastic. The individuals at the turkey convention were awesome in that they allowed my son to move the stool from all the different blinds there so he could test each one of the blinds out and see which one suited his shooting height the best. So very thrilled with the customer service, the design of the blind, the features of the blind, and we'll kind of go inside and I'll show you some of the other details that there are inside. So to point out here as well, this has very heavy duty brush straps built in here, so if you want to brush in your blind a lot, it actually runs along diagonally on all the sides, and there's also a section that runs horizontally along the roof line. The camo here, this is actually the Backwoods Blood Trail camo, so this is Barronett's proprietary camo pattern here. So for the door, it actually comes with a D door. You've got your D opening door here. And then you've also got a corner door. If you're not a fan of those style doors, you can actually go this way as well. So it has two different style entries. I believe that's the only blind I saw at the convention that had dual door options for you. So I personally prefer a D style door. I'm not a big fan of this corner door, but I know people who actually like this corner style as opposed to the D. So, you know, that's just personal preference. On each of the back walls, there's also one of these peek holes. So if you're inside and you think you hear something coming out behind you, you just have this little slit here where you can look through. It's nothing I'm going to try to shoot through, obviously. There's not enough clearance. It's very tight. It's just one of those things you would just pop open a little bit, look behind you, see if you see anything coming. And that's on both of the back walls. So you can see here, this is the webbing path that the mesh screen is on. So you can flip open that, and it's on a separate track. There's the webbing for the actual outer, the dual layer oxide fabric material. So it has its own separate track there. So I can adjust it up as high as I want. I can bring this other one here down. Now there's actually, here's the pull string I was talking about. So you can actually use that pull string too to help fine tune what you want there. So you can bring it all the way closed in the corner if you want. Pop this clip open, You can adjust the webbing back up. There's endless options in here for how you want to adjust that. And finally, as far as the inside goes, you have this pouch down here on the front. Do whatever you want to with that. A lot of times we'll put our snacks in here. I may drop a cell phone down in there. Just, you know, it's just a multi-purpose pouch here. That wraps up the review of the Ox4 here. So I do recommend this blind to anyone out there that's in the market for one this year. It's definitely a better value than some of the others on the market, but it's also a lot higher quality than some of the lower end blinds out there. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer it. Have a good day and God bless.